Hey y'all, my name's Sarah. I'm making this video for the members of our local mutual aid group. We have a local community run mutual aid box, and we have some unhoused neighbors that have specifically requested candles to help them stay warm during the winter. And the community has done so well. People have participated a lot to help provide like containers and wax and stuff, and I've been like making them and putting them into the box. This helps save money. This also prevents money from going into big box stores like Walmart and Bath and Body Works. And also, the candles that come from those stores contain toxins and shit like that. So, this is a beneficial way to go. And people have been requesting some kind of tutorial to help fill in the gap because I'm the only one making them. So, more people to make them means we can have more candles available for people. So that's what this video is for. It's basically just a tutorial, a very, very basic tutorial on how to make candles that are being used for survival. Okay, just to get started, I'm going to go over some things that you need, and then I'll go through the whole process of everything. You'll need a hot plate. This is the best way to control the temperature in my experience. You'll need something to warm the wax and pour the wax. This is an aluminum pitcher thing. You'll need wicks. These are cotton wicks. Wick stickers for the containers. And then these are the containers that I'm using. These are the smaller ones. These are 4 ounces. And then I'll use this just to push the wicks down into the container. I also want to emphasize I use the wide mouth jars. This one is different. I've noticed that the airflow into the candle gets messed with. More airflow comes in with this wide mouth jar. It's like not messed with at all, and I don't have any issues. And here I'm just kind of pointing out how this is a different shaped mouth for those who aren't familiar with cans and stuff. But the one that's more narrow like that causes issues with how the candle burns. You'll also need a food scale or something to weigh the amount of wax that you put into the container. And also a hot pad to place your pitcher when it's not on the hot plate. So the first step is going to be putting the wicks onto the wick stickers and then into the container, and that's just what I'm doing here. You want to try to keep it as much in the middle of the container as possible, not anything all wackadoodly, you know what I'm saying? And there I'll just use something to press the sticker down onto the glass of the container. One thing I didn't mention before is something to help keep the wick in the middle of the jar while the wax is cooling. You'll want to have these set up, ideally before you pour the wax, just to prevent any issues. So here I'm just showing you items that you can use to help keep the wick centered in the jar. This is what I use. I make candles with fragrances and stuff regularly, so I use like actual tools like these. These wooden things are a little bit more on the cheaper end. And if you don't want to buy anything, you can use pencils and stuff just to keep it centered while it cools. That's all you really need it to do. All right, next we're going to be weighing out our wax, and we'll do this using this handy dandy food scale that I have. So first we'll put the container, whatever we're using to warm the wax, on the scale. We'll zero out the scale. This is the wax that I've been using for the mutual aid box, but normally for containers I use a different wax, which I think, yep, there it is. That's the one I normally use for containers, but for the purpose of what these candles are being used for, I want the wax to last for a long time. And the pillar wax has a higher melting temperature, so that's why I'm using that. Okay, so here we've got the wax weighed out. There's this whole ass like formula thing, so I'll just type that out here. Next, we're gonna take our wax, put it on our hot plate, plug it in. I always leave it unplugged if I'm not using it. I hope you follow it. Same guideline. I usually turn it to about 2. We keep it low and slow. We don't want it to go around scalding stuff and doing things that are weird. Here I'm just getting the things on, I don't know what they're called, the things that center the wicks. I don't know. I'm putting them on, getting them ready, because I do not like to put them on after the wax is poured. I've noticed whenever the wax is poured and then you put these on, the wax. All right, once the wax is melted, we're gonna turn off our hot plate and unplug it. We unplug our hot plates, people, and then we're gonna bring that over to our hot pad so we don't destroy countertops and furniture and stuff. Okay, and then next we're just gonna pour the wax into the containers, and then I'll just show something right here to show you how high I fill it normally. Normally up to about the fill line, or maybe just a little bit higher. I'm just gonna go through and get all these ones filled up real quick. I did want to add, normally when I'm doing stuff with fragrances, I have a thermometer that I'm using because those oils have like temperature limits and stuff. With this, however, I'm not adding any fragrance oils because that adds to the cost of the thing, and it adds to the amount of labor and the amount of time it takes for the candles to be ready, and it's just a whole nother thing. So with this, I just monitor the wax beads, and then once they're all completely melted, that's when I start pouring. All right, and then once they're all poured, you just let them sit and cool at room temperature. Let them be undisturbed. Try to keep pets and kids away from them. These ones are still cooling. The glass is still warm and stuff, but they've cooled enough to where I can like take the things off and just kind of like show you guys the process of removing the thingies, whatever they're called. And there were a couple of sinkholes I'm about to show you. Here's one. This just happens as the wax cools. This is normal. It's an easy thing to fix. You can pour more wax over it to just kind of level it out, or you can use like a heat gun or something. But yeah, especially with this kind of wax that's a bit more dense, as it heats, it expands, and then as it cools and solidifies again, it kind of like collapses in on itself. So that's how you get those sinkholes. It's totally normal. But yeah, they just happen. So yeah, there's another one right there. Okay, and then our next step is going to be trimming the wicks so they can be ready to go. Now, I have wick clippers, those black things right there, but you do not have to have those. You just need scissors. I just have wick clippers because I make candles pretty often. So it's just a thing I do, but you absolutely do not have to have them. And then here I was just showing you where to cut them. It's about 1/4 inch or so. And also, this is a candle that has completely cooled and I'm completely done messing with and fixing up and everything. So this is the absolute last step. Do not do this until you are done adding wax and stuff. Then here's a smaller candle that is cooled. I'm just showing you where to cut on this one as well. And then here's what it looks like with wick clippers. And there you have it, a very basic rundown of how I make candles that I donate into the mutual aid box. If you have any questions, please comment, please reach out.